Okay, so welcome to Katy
Thank
Conway, renowned canine massage therapist in the South Nottinghamshire area. Katy, would you explain what is a canine massage therapist? What do you do and who's it for?
Yes, so thanks, Emma. Great to be here. Great to talk about canine massage. So, just like us, dogs hold tension and stress in their bodies. The difference is the dog can't just pick up the phone to the vet and go, I need some pain relief, or book themselves in for a massage. So that's where I come in, because if you have this pain in your bodies or muscle imbalance, and you leave it, then it becomes a long-term problem and can lead to injury and expensive vet bills. So here at Time for Pooch, I offer canine massage, and it is for all dogs. But I've got two main skill sets. One approach is very clinical, focused around the physical body, around anatomy and physiology. The other one is intuitive, tuning into the dog and understanding where they're holding pain and tension. And that one fits more with kind of the emotional side of life, where dogs have been traumatized, etc. in the past. You've got the physical and the emotional, and they come to go into the middle and really nicely overlap. So it's all around listening to the dog and watching every movement to see what their pain levels are.
Okay, so there's two distinct sides to it that you're bringing together. Yeah. Oh, that is fantastic. I'm quite interested because of what I do in the intuitive side of it. Is that separate training that you do, or how did you learn that?
Yes, that was separate training that I did last year. Whole energy body balance is the umbrella term. It's with a healing vet in Australia, Dr. Edward Bathingthwaite. He's got 20 years experience as a vet, and he learned that as a vet, he kind of assumed that he could tell when a dog was in pain just by looking at them.
Right.
That wasn't so. So then he started the more intuitive hands-on therapy and spent 20 years trying to build this approach and learning how to tune into the dogs and understand what they're showing and how he can then help them.
That's very impressive, actually, for a vet, somebody who's from a clinical scientific background, to have that realization and develop it. Hats off to him, and hats off to you for also pursuing that and having both sides. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a great addition, because I've got the clinical side of it, which is great for, you know, kind of the dogs that need that more, like the arthritis and things with orthopaedic conditions. And then there's obviously this side taps more into kind of the reactive dogs and looking at that deeply connected, intuitive touch.
Yes, reactive dogs, that is a whole topic in itself. There are so many things that can be feeding into that, but that's very interesting that this type of touch can really help with that. So tell me about your typical clients and the problems they come to you with. What are the things you normally deal with?
Yeah, sometimes it is just the dog is starting to slow down. They're not jumping on and off the sofa quite as easily as they once did. Some dogs come to me kind of middle-aged. There's nothing actually wrong with them, but just purely for maintenance, just keep them off any medication as long as possible. We'll have a massage, deal with kind of niggles as they come up. Other dogs coming to me, they've got elbow dysplasia, quite often with the Labradors, or hip dysplasia, or spondylosis of the spine, different kind of orthopaedic conditions. Or you might get kind of neurological conditions, such things like wobblers that Dobermans get, and that's all to do with the nerves in the body, and it makes them kind of wobbly. There's also a role for it in surgery, post-surgery. My dog Rhia had cruciate ligament surgery, so I used it to help with inflammation post-surgery and any compensatory issues. And then you've got the reactive and the anxious dogs. The fascia is a connective tissue, essentially, that surrounds all the muscles and the bones in the body and kind of deeply penetrates all through the body, and that holds emotions. And it's quite superficial. So actually, by working on that and releasing that, you can release some of the trauma that dogs have felt. So it will help with releasing the emotional side of it, will help then release the physical side of it as well. So if dogs have had past trauma, rescue dogs perhaps. But also dogs that are hyperactive. There's a lot of dogs out at the moment that are completely ball obsessed. They're just focused all the time, hyper alert, and it can help them switch into that parasympathetic nervous system. Just
really, that is fascinating. So how on earth does it do that?
It's all to do with calming the system down, and the kind of touch that you use is quite a deep and connected touch, and it has that effect then on the nervous system. I have a technique I can teach clients to do at home, a relaxation technique. And when they do that then every day with the dog then starts to learn that you can see them sink and just okay, I can do this, I can relax.
Oh, that's
Sometimes they
wonderful.
fight it a bit first. You can see them, they're starting to relax. No, 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 I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake.
Just imagine, I can think of so many people who could benefit from this, you know, because I didn't realize it could be helpful in not just the physical conditions, but the emotional and almost habits with dogs where they've just got into habits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So have you got any particularly memorable, you know, clients that you've treated would be a good illustration of how this can help?
Yeah. I've got 2 case studies. So the first one is very much around kind of the clinical massage side of things. I
Okay.
had 3 English Shepherds. Callie, Lexi and Tess came to me from the same family. So Tess was the mum, Lexi and Callie were the 2 daughters. The owners were great, really knowledgeable, very supportive, very active lifestyle, doing a lot of walking with their dogs. They've worked with dog trainers on multiple occasions, so very much doing anything they can to help their dogs. And I did a little pop-up clinic where I was assessing dogs for silent pain. And they came along and all 3 dogs were showing signs of, there was certainly some discomfort there with all of them. So they came for treatment, and when they were doing the gait analysis and I was walking in the same way, instead of placing their feet under their hips, they were placing them more centrally, kind of under their belly.
Okay.
And when I started trying to do hands-on work, all 3 of them didn't want their hindquarters touched.
Oh,
They went to
interesting.
great lengths to avoid getting it touched. They'd get up and move, or they'd lay on that side, or, you know, do whatever they could to stop me touching them.
Right.
And the fascia that I talked about, that connective tissue, was really tight across their back. And all of them, it's like, oh, okay, this is a bit weird that it's all 3 of them, all from the same household. So we started talking about kind of lifestyle and home life, and it turns out the girls were jumping in and out of the car quite happily, didn't show any signs of, not any sign that they didn't want to. They were more than happy to do it. So we stopped that. The owner had a ramp that they used that instead, and came back 3 weeks later. And the 2 daughters, Lexi and Callie, more or less pain-free. You know, I did the silent pain assessment on them, and
Gosh, that's amazing.
Tess was better. She's the older one, but she's still got some problems there.
Yeah.
So we think whether perhaps there's an injury underneath, either caused by or aggravated by jumping in and out of the car. So she's coming back for more treatments. But
that's making me feel a bit guilty now, because my dog jumps in and out of the car all the time, and I don't like him doing it because of things like this.
Yeah.
And you know, he sort of jumps onto concrete if we're in a car park, for example, and I just, should I stop him doing that?
When a dog is out and about in a field, they can run and they can jump, and they have a long takeoff and a long landing. The problem you've got when they get in the car, they're not warmed up. They jump in, and they've got to make sure they don't hit the roof of the car.
Yeah.
And they've got a limited space probably in the boot or the back seat that they're jumping into, so they've got to kind of stop suddenly. So some of the things you can do if you're out and about, not everybody wants to carry steps or ramps away of them. And if you have a larger dog, you can't always pick them up and take them out.
Yeah.
But if you just try and park up next to a grass bank, for example.
Yes, yeah.
So
That's a good idea.
A bit of grass,
Yeah.
just so they're not landing on concrete, or just take like a bit of yoga mats, they're jumping on that, and that's kind of taking away some of the impact. It's a bit of a training thing with dogs as well. And my client found that Tess, the older one in pain, was happy to wait for the ramp. The other 2 desperate to get out.
That is amazing. So some massage and a lifestyle change made a huge difference to those dogs.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Simple. If you pick it up now while it's just a small niggle, it's not an issue. The older dog that's been doing it for a bit longer, it'll take a bit longer to clear.
Because the vet's bills that the owners are saving, but the discomfort and trauma of their dogs. If we can learn and prevent it, how much better will our dogs' lives be? That's fantastic. Yeah.
But I remember learning this, it's like, oh, I never thought about that. Actually quite obvious when you think about it. But until somebody points it out, how are you to know?
Yeah, that's right. Well, so I know better now, so I need to act on it. That's one of your case studies. Tell us about the other one.
So the other one was Rhia. She was a Staffie that came to me, very reactive Staffie, frightened of all dogs, and always been very anxious and very nervous dog. She had been attacked by another dog, and tried to retaliate. The owner then kicked her, and she'd had some abuse in her past as well, where her human had been attacked, And again, she'd gone in to defend a human and been thrown off. So an awful lot of trauma. The reason she came to me was that she'd recently lost her big sister. She stood there, she cried a lot, she looked at mum a lot. And I'd get a few seconds on, then she'd go back to mum, and then she would come back to me. And that first session, I think it took me 50 minutes. And then eventually she started, you could just see like this, see the eyes going and the head falling down. And it took us just over the hour.
A good sign, the flop, is that
Yeah,
a good
she
sign?
just stopped and went, oh, that's it. I'm done. I can stop holding all this stress and all this tension. But as I was treating her, I was aware of feeling so much sadness and anxiety coming off of her. You know, it's really, really quite sad, bless her. But her owner has been brilliant. Her mum does the relaxation technique with her every day, and she's noticing the difference. There's been the odd dog that she's not reacted to.
Good.
Still reacting to most dogs, but she's starting to calm down a bit quicker now. She's starting to calm herself down afterwards. So yes, she's reacting, but she can bring it back to herself. She said when she takes her out for a walk now, she has to stop while the dog sniffs. She's never stopped to sniff before. She's always been so anxious and uptight.
Yeah.
It's such a lovely story. She does this relaxation every night. She says she still has to chase the dog around the room to get her to allow treatment. She said when she does, she said I can really see she switches into deep sleep. Really switches off.
So we could all do with it.
Yes, exactly. I'll have some.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
It's a lovely story. It's really rewarding.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much for those wonderful stories. So now tell me a little bit about your dog, Rhia. Was it her that inspired you?
Yeah, so she was 4 when she was diagnosed with hip dysplasia and osteoarthritis. And it was a huge shock. I think anyone that's been in that situation will probably understand when I say I felt like the bottom had fallen out of my world.
Yeah.
You know,
because 4's young, isn't it? I mean, that's nothing really.
You know, we're just enjoying puppyhood and just coming through that, and we were out there doing agility and long walks, and I found myself stood in a vet surgery, and the vet saying, well, she's not going to walk unaided. 10 minutes walk is all you're ever going to do with her. This wasn't the plan for my life. So I got a second opinion with an orthopaedic vet. She gave me some hope that, you know, these things can be managed. So I decided to start looking around to see what I could do. What is there that's out there? And I remember this vet saying, well, here's a physio that I recommend. And I was like, a veterinary physio? So I started seeing all these workshops and just lapping up all this knowledge. And I came across canine massage, and I was like, yeah, this is what's going to help Rhia the most.
Yeah, fantastic. And so was Rhia your first patient, really?
Yeah, she took me through all my training. I had 2 years of training. And I've got photos of her just laying on the floor with Post-it notes all over her with different muscles on them. So this is this muscle or this bone. And as I was trying to learn it all, I learned all my techniques on her. So she went through all the learning and all the mistakes, and now she's benefiting.
Good. That's fantastic. I'm really glad that Rhia had you, and you were so determined to find a way to help her, that she wasn't going to be written off as a dog that couldn't walk anymore. Because what a thing to say about a dog that's 4.
Yeah, it was a real shock to the system. So she was my inspiration. She is now nearing 12, going to be 12 in April. She's enjoying life. We still do long walks. We stopped agility a couple of years ago. We put changes in place to manage it. So yeah, she's been able to go on and live a full life, still full of vitality.
Good.
And I've also invested in a pulsed magnetic mat, which
we're going to talk about in a bit. Yeah,
we are. It's a mat that dogs lay on for 15 minutes is the optimum session time, and the electric current that goes through the magnets makes them pulse the cells within the dog's body, and it then kickstarts the body's natural healing process. So brings pain relief, anti-inflammatory, detox, and all the rest.
This is making sense given what Rhia told me.
Yes.
Okay.
The question I put to you was, what does she think of it?
Yeah, what does she think? Right. Okay. So
does she want me to stop and carry on?
So I spoke to your dog, Rhia. Thank you for providing some simple information about her and some questions. So I actually communicated with Rhia on Tuesday, but when I was reading your questions, this was on Sunday, and she dropped in straight away. There was quite a strong connection immediately. So that was really good. They kind of know what we're doing, and they support us and help us with this. So she knew you would be asking me to communicate with her. So just before I tell you what she said, I'm just going to mention that not everything our pets tell us, or not everything they tell me to tell you, is literal. Some of the images they share or concepts they share are symbolic. So if it doesn't seem obvious straight away, the meaning will probably come to you a bit later.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So I introduced myself to her, said that you'd given me permission to speak to her, and that you had a couple of questions. And she accepted me straight away. She was
telling you were going to speak to her.
She was kind of just gently waggy, happy to communicate. And as you just said, she was expecting me. So I asked her to describe her personality. So she said that she's steady, kind, and has a sense of humour.
Yeah,
she was very excited to have this conversation. She was really waiting for it. She's very pleased to help you, Katy, and she loves you, and she's very proud of you. And that being proud of you was one of the main things that came across in the conversation kind of straight away. She was kind of bursting and bubbling over with wanting to convey how proud she is of you. So I hope that's kind of resonating a little bit.
That's great.
I asked her just to share a few things that she likes. So straight away, things that she likes: walks. And she showed herself walking and trotting along, happily sniffing. And then she was indoors in the play bow position, chewing a toy. And she said that she doesn't do this as much as she used to when she was younger. So she would love her toy, perhaps. She also shared the sound of bird songs, and she showed herself indoors watching small birds from the window. Is that something she...
Yeah, she does. She sits at the patio door and watches the birds.
Really loves hearing them. She played the sound of bird song to me, and it was just very beautiful. And it was kind of like, yeah, this for her. This is like listening to music. She really likes it.
I didn't realise that. I was thinking she was watching the pigeons and about to pounce and chase them off.
There's probably some of that as well, but yeah, she actually likes listening to the birds. I asked her, Rhia, what do you like best about being a dog? And straight away, playfulness. And then she did happy play bow to kind of demonstrate. I asked her, what's your role or job in the household and family? And she says she's a support and friend to Katy and Dad. And she said, I'm as reliable and steady as a rock.
She is indeed. She's always there.
Do you know what she did? She gave me that kind of feeling as I was communicating with her that she follows you around everywhere and you're sort of almost never apart. Was the kind of feeling I got when she watches you and she watches over you and she always wants to know where you are.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. So I asked what her soul contract is with you, and because before we incarnate on Earth, we plan to help each other in life, to learn lessons or experience certain things. So her contract with you is to be your partner in life and play, and to encourage and support you. So sounds like she's doing an amazing job of that already.
She is indeed, yes, bless her.
Yeah.
Got started on a whole new career, so it's all thanks.
Yes. Yeah. So she is super proud of you about that, but we'll come to that again a bit later. So I asked if she had a message or advice for you, and she said, I love you, Mummy, and I admire you. And she shared this series of quick images where she's supporting and encouraging you physically and emotionally. So first it's support, like supporting you as if she's holding you up. Then it's nudging you and pushing you gently. And then finally she's stepping back and admiring you in awe. So much love and admiration for you. And she's just so proud of you. She really is. She just kept repeating how proud she is of you, because essentially, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that this is what she's supported you to do.
She has indeed. She spent hours supporting me on doing this, bless her.
Yeah. Lovely dog. Okay, so then we come to your questions. So you asked, what I'd like to know is, what does she think of the magnetic map? So when I actually first read that question on Sunday, she dropped in straight away and she just downloaded the knowledge to me, which was, yes, she likes it. It makes her feel quite heavy and slightly achy and tingly, but in a good way. Slightly achy and tired, and she can only do it for a short period of time. So it's quite interesting that they're only supposed to do it for 15 minutes, because she agrees with that. She says it's relaxing her muscles and assisting them to relax and release toxins, and therefore she feels a bit dehydrated afterwards.
She
And
does drink a lot afterwards.
does she? Right, good. Well,
Yeah,
she's doing the
always
right
goes
thing
to the
though.
water bowl afterwards.
Good. Yeah, she obviously understands what to do then. But yeah, so this thing about relaxing the muscles and releasing the toxins and then feeling dehydrated, she said it's the equivalent of doing lots of stretching or having a deep massage, and shared that she can only do it for short periods of time because it's powerful.
Yeah.
So in short, yes, she does like the mat and it's very powerful, and she needs to drink a lot afterwards.
Good to know it's doing something, because you never know when they
Yes.
tell you these things. I mean, I sit on it and I can feel it. I feel all tingly, but
Yeah,
it wasn't really doing anything for me.
right.
It felt like my
Yeah.
body was alive. So yeah, it's good to know, especially as I use it with other clients as well. I've always thought, you know, some dogs you can see the reaction after they've used it. They're
Yes.
obviously in less pain, a bit more relaxed. So yeah, good feedback from
Interesting.
my girl.
Yes. So you'd asked, who does she like walking with? Katie, she likes walking with you. Dad, does he come walking with you?
Not very often.
No. Well, perhaps it's a hint. She also shared the image of a blonde lady who also has a dog. I saw this flash of blonde hair. She shared an image of a dog that looks like a golden retriever or similar. So I don't know if it's that lady's dog, but I got the impression it was.
I would imagine that is her little friend next door, Ruby, who is a Labrador.
Oh, okay. Oh, fabulous. She also showed a smaller dog, which was similar in size and shape to a corgi, but it's more of a grey or brown colour with some white.
Yeah, that'll be Boo, the Basset Hound.
Yes, I can see how that's
like him. And he likes her.
Oh, are they buddies then? Walking buddies?
No, not especially, but they live on our street. So
Yeah.
bump into each other sometimes out for a walk. It's very playful when she sees him.
Oh, that's lovely. You asked what's her favourite walk. So she showed that she gets in the car. There was an image of a checked blanket. She enjoys the gentle rumbling vibrations of the car. She finds it soothing.
She does love the car. Yeah. Very
Does
good
she?
traveller.
That's good that she's a good traveller.
Mm.
She says when she gets out of the car, she can smell water and see reed beds. And there's a yellowish path with the occasional gate along it. And she seems to prefer walking on the path than the grass, because the grass is a bit long and chaotic.
Oh, okay. She definitely always wants to walk along the road, and it's like, no, let's go walking across the fields. But she does seem to prefer the canal path to the fields.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Always trying to persuade Oscar to go on the grass instead of the path, but I guess they like the path because that's where a lot of other dogs have been, and it's more interesting to smell, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess you were saying about the grass being chaotic. Maybe it's because it's uneven underfoot.
Yes.
All the potholes and divots from where the cattle have been and stuff.
Kind of feel the sensation of exactly what you've said, different heights, different textures. Some bits of grass are kind of sharp. So yeah, she said it's quiet and she can hear birds and the occasional aircraft. And I asked her can you share like the feeling or the sensation on your favourite walk? She feels spacious, free and expansive. She can breathe freely and has a good wide field of view. She said the first part is on the path and you can't always see around the corner. So she prefers the bit where she can finally see more of a view and it's more open and spacious.
Certainly she likes going in the car, and we do sometimes go in the car, try and go in the car once, twice a week for a walk. The reed beds and the grass, she does like water. She doesn't like deep water, but she likes to go in and have a run and a splash.
Did keep sharing the smell of water. So yeah, absolutely. She also enjoys the ride home in the car as she feels relaxed and she's looking forward to chilling out at home. She shared another image, which was you, your husband and Rhia going on an adventure in the car with a blanket and a picnic and flasks of hot drinks.
Yeah.
You're all sitting in or on the open boot of the car. You're enjoying a picnic and looking at the view. And she was also suggesting beach or seaside, or at very least some kind of sand. So I don't know if this is an activity you've done or if it's something she's asking for, but she liked the idea of this adventure, or all going in the car together.
certainly, you know, eventually we go on holiday together, we go in the car and all the rest of it. We've been to seasides before. Not anything we would do regularly, but maybe it's something that we would like to do more of.
Yes, yeah.
She definitely knows her own mind, knows where she wants to walk.
I think it's brilliant how they communicate with us and they tell us what they want and they get their own way. And we kind of don't realise how they've arranged things so they do get their own way, because they plan ahead. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, completely.
So you also had a message to pass on to Rhia, which was, tell her I appreciate her support very much and not to worry about me as I'm taking care of me. That's not her role. And you did sort of say, although I suspect I can't stop her. And her response was, she loves supporting you and she's delighted to know of your appreciation. She wants to continue to take care of you as that's her role and it gives her purpose and happiness.
I've been told.
You've been told, yes, that's her job and she wants to do her job well. So yeah, she wants to support you, she loves it, and she's really proud of you know, how far you've come. So I asked if she had any final comments or anything else she'd like to chat about. She didn't really have much to add. So I just said, what do you think of your mum doing canine massage? And she said, I think it's the best thing ever, without hesitation, and again a huge rush of pride and love, and confirmed again how proud she is of you.
She's very good, because I've got a clinic at home, so dogs are coming into her house. So good with it. You know, I didn't know whether she would accept it, but she has. She seems to understand and comes in afterwards and she has a good sniff round. And that's the deal, is that, you know, she will be good and stay out of the way, but she has to come and sniff afterwards.
That's fair, yes. She's so proud of you. I'm not surprised that she's handling it really well, because she's just doing everything she can to, you know, encourage and support you with it. Oh, that's amazing. Wonderful. So
the essence of her.
Sorry, say that again.
You definitely captured the essence of her.
Oh, thank you. Good. It's always a bit of a trepidatious moment when you feed back to the human guardians. Oh God, you know, have I got it right? Have I connected properly with this animal? So following on from what you said about how your clinic is, how, if people want to book a massage, if somebody wants that for their dog, how would they contact you, Katy?
So they can find me on Facebook, Time for Pooch. I also got a website, timeforpooch.co.uk. So they can find me on those places. And occasionally I do these clinics out in the community where I do assessments for dogs with silent pain. And I'm trying to book in one a month, kind of in the local area. So just keep an eye on my Facebook page for that. So I guess the only other thing to say is that all treatments have to have vet consent.
Right.
So, and that's the process. It's a very simple process. I can manage it for people. Generally, if a vet has seen a dog in the last 6 months, then they're happy just to sign off the form without any further consultation. But sometimes, you know, they need to see the dog again if there's something particular wrong. But generally, 99% of the time, they just sign the form and send it back to me.
So people can find you by your website, on Facebook. You're also advertising on Facebook when you do these assessment clinics in the local area. And then when they contact you, they decide to go ahead, you can then contact the vet on their behalf. Absolutely. And then they bring
the dog to me.
Yes.
Really.
And so, how many sessions does it sort of normally need, or is that
it does vary depending on the dog. For the clinical massage, we tend to say 3 sessions. You will see improvements, certainly within 3 sessions, sometimes in as many as 1 session. For the reactive dogs, it is much harder to say. Certainly little Mia that came in, she saw, you know, straight away, she said she slept in the car going home, something she doesn't normally do. But I've had another reactive dog that I've treated, and after 3 sessions, we're just seeing minimal differences. So it very much depends on what their issues are and the extent of their reactivity. But certainly, you'd think 3-4 sessions, you would see good results from the clinical massage. And I think if even with the reactive dogs, if they come in and after 2-3 sessions, we're not seeing anything, it's like, well, this is the time then to start thinking about maybe we bring in a dog trainer as well to help us or something like that.
Lots of options for people to help their dogs. Canine massage therapy sounds like a fantastic one. Amazing. And you're based in Hickling in South Nottinghamshire?
I am indeed, on the Nottingham-Leicester border.
Yes.
I've got a clinic here at home.
Yeah.
And looking forward to welcoming clients through the doors.
Absolutely. Yeah. So anybody who's within striking distance of you, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, they should contact. Yeah.
absolutely.
Anything they should look for, or what, what might prompt them to contact you?
It's signs such as, your dog is starting to slow down. They might be struggling with the stairs, change in behaviour, certainly be suddenly becoming a bit more withdrawn, maybe a bit grumpy.
Yeah.
You'll see changes in their coat. So you can see sometimes, if you think of obvious ones like Labradors, quite often they get the hair kind of stands up on around the back or their neck.
Yeah.
And that's often a sign that there's something happening underneath with the tissues,
Yes.
causing the
Yeah.
coat, with different blood supply, make the coats react differently.
Right.
So things like that they can look out for. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few different things, but it's that slowing down, that they're not able to do the things that they used to do.
Yeah.
And when they run their hands over a dog, particularly down their spine, sometimes you can see kind of the skin flicker.
Yes. Yes, I know what you mean. I've seen that. Good. So fantastic. We don't want our dogs to be in pain, so we can come to you and you can massage them and intuitively do their body work with the energy, and could release all kinds of things that we don't know about.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's brilliant. I think that's everything, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a good session. Fascinating to hear what your conversation with Rhia.
Oh, good. I'll email you the transcript of my conversation with her, so you've got that to keep. Thank you very much, Katy. Fantastic.